Have you ever felt like something in your life is just not right? Like no matter how hard you try, things don't improve? You feel stuck, lost, or disconnected, and deep inside, you know that something needs to change. But you don't know what it is. You don't know why you feel this way, and you don't know what to do about it. This feeling is not random. It is not just a phase. It could be a sign from Allah, a sign that He wants you to change your surroundings. Your environment plays a huge role in shaping your thoughts, emotions, and actions. The people you spend time with, the places you go, and the atmosphere around you all have an impact on your faith, your mindset, and your overall well-being. If your surroundings are toxic, negative, or spiritually draining, then no matter how strong you are, you will struggle to grow. Imagine a plant. If it is placed in bad soil, with no sunlight and no water, it will wither and die. But if you take that same plant and put it in good soil, with fresh air, sunlight, and water, it will thrive. You are just like that plant. If your surroundings are not helping you grow, they are destroying you. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, sends us signals when it is time to change our environment. These signs come in different ways. Sometimes you lose motivation. Sometimes you feel distant from your faith. Sometimes you feel surrounded by negativity. And sometimes you just feel an unexplainable sense of discomfort. In this video, we will explore 7 clear signs that Allah wants you to change your surroundings. These are not just ordinary signs, they are warnings. They are wake-up calls. They are messages from your Creator guiding you towards something better. Because Allah does not want you to remain stuck in a place that harms you. He wants you to grow, to heal, and to find peace in the right environment. So if you have been feeling uneasy, if you have been struggling, if you feel like your heart is not at ease, then pay close attention. Because this message might be the answer you have been waiting for. And before we begin, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel, Deen Xplorers. Your support helps us spread the beauty of Islam to more people. May Allah guide us all to the right path. Sign 1. You feel spiritually weak. There are times in life when you feel disconnected from your faith. You wake up in the morning, and the thought of praying seems heavy. Reading the Quran feels like a duty instead of a blessing. You no longer feel the same peace in your heart when you make dua. You try to push yourself to do the right thing, but something keeps pulling you back. If you feel this way, it might not just be your own struggle. It could be your surroundings. The people around you, the environment you live in, and the daily influences in your life might be draining your spirituality. Imagine a plant trying to grow in dry, cracked soil. No matter how much water it receives, if the soil is unhealthy, the plant will always struggle. The same goes for your soul. If you are in a place where sins are common, where people constantly talk about worldly desires, and where no one reminds you of Allah, your faith will slowly weaken. It won't happen all at once. It will be gradual. You might miss one prayer and then another. You might stop seeking knowledge. You might stop feeling the presence of Allah in your life. But the worst part is that you might not even notice it until your heart feels completely empty. The beauty of Islam is that no matter how far you feel, Allah is always near. He is always ready to bring you back. But sometimes, in order to return to Him, you must change your surroundings. You need to be in a place that nourishes your soul, just like a plant needs fertile soil. If your heart feels distant from Allah, ask yourself, are my surroundings helping me get closer to Him, or are they pulling me away? Look at the people around you. Do they remind you of Allah? Do they encourage you to pray? Do they inspire you to be a better Muslim? If not, then Allah might be telling you to move. One of the greatest traps of Shaitan is keeping you in an environment that makes you spiritually weak. He wants you to believe that you can stay in a place full of distractions and still hold on to your faith. But the truth is, your heart is like a sponge. It absorbs everything around it. If you are constantly surrounded by negativity, by people who don't care about faith, by a culture that only values money, fame, and desires, then your heart will absorb that too. But if you surround yourself with people who love Allah, who remind you to pray, who speak words of kindness and wisdom, then your heart will begin to change. You will start to feel the presence of Allah again. Keep yourself content with those who call their Lord morning and evening, seeking His pleasure, and let not your eyes overlook them, seeking the splendor of the worldly life. And do not obey the one whose heart we have made heedless of our remembrance, and who has followed his desire and whose behavior has exceeded the limits. If you truly want to feel close to Allah again, you must surround yourself with those who remember Him. You must place yourself in an environment where faith is nurtured, where the love of Allah is alive, and where your soul feels at peace. So, if you feel spiritually weak, don't ignore the feeling. It might be Allah telling you that it's time to change your surroundings. Sign 2. You constantly feel unhappy or drained. Happiness is a gift from Allah. It is not found in wealth, fame, or material things. It is found in the heart that is content, in the soul that feels at peace. But what happens when your happiness starts to fade? What if, no matter where you are or what you do, you feel constantly tired, drained, and unhappy? This is not just a random feeling. It could be a sign that Allah wants you to change your surroundings. Sometimes, we are so used to our environment that we don't realize how much it is affecting us. We wake up every day feeling exhausted, even after a full night's sleep. We go through the day feeling irritated or anxious for no reason. We try to enjoy life, but nothing feels satisfying. This is not normal. Your surroundings have a direct impact on your emotional and mental state. If the people around you are always negative, always complaining, always gossiping, then their energy will affect you too. If your workplace, school, or home is filled with tension and stress, it will slowly start breaking you from the inside. Imagine you are carrying a heavy backpack. At first, it feels manageable, but as time passes, it becomes harder to carry. Eventually, it starts to hurt, but you keep going because you think you have no choice. This is exactly what happens when you stay in an environment that drains you. The weight of negativity, stress, and emotional pain builds up until you feel completely exhausted. And the worst part? You start to believe that this is just how life is supposed to be. But it's not. Allah does not want you to live in constant sadness. He does not want you to feel drained every single day. He wants you to thrive, to grow, to be in a place where your heart feels light and your soul feels at peace. If you constantly feel unhappy, take a step back and evaluate your surroundings. Are you surrounded by people who uplift you, who remind you of your worth, who encourage you to be better? Or are you around those who criticize you, belittle you, and make you feel worthless? Are you living in an environment where you feel safe, respected, and valued? Or are you stuck in a place that suffocates you? If your heart is telling you that something is wrong, listen to it. That feeling of discomfort, that constant exhaustion, that never-ending stress, it is not something to ignore. It might be Allah telling you that it's time for a change. The ones who believe and their hearts are peaceful with the remembrance of Allah. Listen, the hearts find peace only in the remembrance of Allah. If your current surroundings are making you feel lost, if they are draining you instead of filling you with light, then have courage. Make a change. Move towards a place where your heart finds rest, where your soul feels alive, and where you can truly be happy. Do not settle for a life of constant stress and sadness. Allah wants better for you, and you should want better for yourself too. Sign 3. People around you encourage sin. Your surroundings shape your heart. The people you spend time with, the conversations you have, and the habits you develop all have a deep impact on your faith. If you find yourself in an environment where sin is normalized, where haram activities are common, and where no one reminds you of Allah, then this is a serious sign that you need to change your surroundings. Sin is dangerous because it does not always appear in its worst form. It often starts small. You might hear people backbiting and think it's harmless, so you join in. You might be pressured to skip a prayer once, then again, and before you know it, it becomes a habit. You might see dishonesty in business or relationships and think, everyone does it, so it must be okay. Slowly, without even realizing it, you become comfortable with things that once made you feel guilty. That is how Shaitan works. He makes sin look normal by surrounding you with people who do it without hesitation. But here is the truth. Your heart is naturally pure. It was created to love righteousness. That is why, deep down, when you are in a sinful environment, you feel uneasy. You might laugh with your friends, but inside, you feel empty. You might go to gatherings and enjoy yourself, but when you return home, your soul feels heavy. You might tell yourself that everything is fine, but at night, when you are alone, you feel distant from Allah. That feeling of guilt, of uneasiness, of spiritual discomfort, that is Allah's way of telling you that you need to step away. One of the biggest mistakes we make is thinking we can stay in a bad environment and not be affected. We tell ourselves, I am strong, I will not change. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, a man is upon the religion of his friend, so let one of you look at whom he befriends. If you stay among those who constantly engage in sin, no matter how strong you think you are, your heart will begin to harden. The things that once made you feel guilty will start to feel normal. Your connection with Allah will weaken, and before you know it, you will be a different person. If the people around you are heedless of Allah, if they only chase their desires, and if they live a life of negligence, then do not follow them. Protect your heart. Protect your faith. Move away from places and people that make you forget your purpose. Seek an environment where your iman is protected, where your soul feels at peace, and where you are encouraged to grow closer to Allah. Do not let a sinful environment weaken your faith. Change your surroundings before they change you. Sign 4. You no longer feel motivated to do good. There was a time when you felt inspired to pray, to read the Quran, to help others, and to improve yourself. You used to wake up with a purpose, feeling excited to grow in your faith and become a better Muslim. But now, something has changed. You feel stuck. The motivation you once had is gone. You struggle to do the things that once brought you peace. You know you should pray, but you delay it. You know you should give charity, but you hesitate. You know you should seek knowledge, but you keep making excuses. This is not just a random phase. It could be a sign from Allah that your surroundings are holding you back. Your environment has a direct impact on your level of motivation. If you are surrounded by people who are lazy in their faith, who do not care about doing good, who waste their time in useless activities, then their energy will affect you too. Even if you have a good heart, even if you want to do better, staying in the wrong surroundings can drain your motivation. Imagine a fire that burns brightly. As long as it has fuel, it keeps burning. But if you remove the fuel, the fire starts to weaken until it eventually dies out. Your faith is the same. It needs fuel to stay strong. That fuel comes from good company, from reminders, from an environment that encourages you to do good. But if you are in a place where no one talks about Allah, where no one reminds you of the hereafter, where no one encourages acts of kindness and righteousness, then your faith will slowly start to fade. The danger of losing motivation is that it leads to spiritual numbness. You start living life on autopilot. You wake up, go through your daily routine, and sleep, without any real sense of purpose. You stop setting goals for your faith. You stop seeking growth. And over time, you stop feeling the presence of Allah in your life. This is why changing your surroundings is so important. You need to be in a place that inspires you, that fills your heart with the desire to do good, that pushes you to become a better version of yourself. Surely, those who believe and do righteous deeds, for them, the all-merciful, Allah, will create love. But for that to happen, we must choose an environment that nurtures our faith. If you find yourself losing motivation, take a deep look at your surroundings. Are they helping you grow, or are they pulling you down? If you feel stuck, if you feel like your fire is dying, then it might be time to move towards a better environment, one that helps you reignite your faith rebuild your motivation, and return to the path of righteousness. Allah wants you to thrive, not just survive. So listen to the signs and take action before it's too late. Sign 5. You feel trapped in toxic relationships. Relationships play a huge role in shaping our lives. The people we spend time with influence our thoughts, emotions, and actions. But what happens when the relationships in your life become a source of stress, pain, and negativity? If you constantly feel drained, disrespected, or unappreciated by the people around you, it could be a sign that Allah wants you to change your surroundings. Toxic relationships come in many forms. It could be a friend who constantly criticizes you, making you feel worthless. It could be a family member who manipulates you and makes you feel guilty for things that are not your fault. It could be a workplace where your efforts are never recognized, and you feel like nothing you do is ever enough. It could even be a social circle that pressures you into things that go against your values. These types of relationships do not just hurt your emotions, they damage your soul. One of the biggest tricks of Shaitan is keeping you in relationships that break you. He makes you believe that you have no choice, that you must stay because you owe something to these people. But Allah never wants you to be in a situation that destroys your peace. Islam teaches us the importance of kindness and patience, but it does not teach us to tolerate continuous harm. If a relationship is making you lose yourself, if it is stopping you from being the best version of yourself, then Allah might be guiding you to walk away. It is not easy to leave toxic relationships. You might fear being alone, you might feel guilty, you might worry about what others will say. But remember this: protecting your heart, your faith, and your mental well-being is not selfish. It is necessary. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot help others when you are constantly being drained. Sometimes, the best thing you can do is create distance and allow yourself to heal. Yes, we should be forgiving and patient, but that does not mean we should accept continuous mistreatment. If you feel trapped in toxic relationships, do not ignore the signs. Seek support, make dua for strength, and take the steps needed to change your surroundings. Allah wants you to be in relationships that uplift you, that bring you closer to Him, and that help you grow into the best version of yourself. If your current relationships are doing the opposite, then it is time to walk away. Trust in Allah's plan, and He will replace what you lose with something far better. Sign 6. You no longer feel close to Allah. There was a time when your heart felt connected to Allah. You would pray and feel peace. You would read the Quran and feel guidance. You would make dua and feel hope. But now, something has changed. Your prayers feel empty. Your heart feels distant. You no longer feel the same closeness to Allah that you once did. If this is happening to you, it could be a sign that your surroundings are affecting your faith, and Allah wants you to make a change. Our environment plays a major role in our connection with Allah. If you are in a place where there is constant distraction, where people do not remember Allah, where sin is common, then it becomes harder to maintain your faith. Your heart starts to feel heavy, and you don't know why. Your mind becomes occupied with worldly matters, and you forget about the hereafter. Without realizing it, you slowly start to drift away from Allah. One of the biggest dangers of a bad environment is that it numbs your soul. At first, you might feel guilty about missing a prayer, but over time, it becomes normal. At first, you might feel uncomfortable in a sinful gathering, but soon, you start to accept it. The more you stay in an environment that weakens your faith, the harder it becomes to return to Allah. This is why Islam emphasizes good company. When you are around people who remind you of Allah, your heart stays alive. But when you are surrounded by those who are heedless, your heart begins to darken. Think about the places you spend most of your time. Do they bring you closer to Allah or take you further away? Do they remind you of your purpose or distract you from it? If your surroundings are making it harder for you to worship, then it is time to make a change. Moving towards a better environment is not just about physical space. It is about the state of your heart. When you surround yourself with people who encourage goodness, when you spend time in places that remind you of Allah, your faith will naturally grow stronger. Turn passionately towards your Lord and submit to Him before the punishment comes to you, after which you will not be helped. If you feel distant from Allah, do not ignore the signs. Do not wait until it is too late. Take action now. Change your surroundings, seek better company, and create an environment that nurtures your faith. The more you move towards Allah, the more He will open doors for you. No matter how far you feel, no matter how lost you think you are, Allah's mercy is always near. All you have to do is take the first step, and He will guide you back to Him. Sign 7. You feel like you are not growing as a person. Growth is a natural part of life. Just like a plant needs sunlight and water to grow, your soul needs the right environment to develop. If you feel like you are stuck in the same place, not learning, not improving, and not moving forward, it might be a sign that Allah wants you to change your surroundings. Think about it. Every day should bring you closer to your best self. Your faith should be increasing, your character should be improving, and your knowledge should be expanding. But when you are in the wrong environment, growth becomes impossible. You wake up every day feeling the same. You don't feel inspired. You don't feel motivated to achieve anything greater. You feel trapped in a cycle of repetition, doing the same things, talking to the same people, and living the same life without any real progress. The people around you have a huge influence on your growth. If they do not have ambition, if they do not strive to be better, if they do not seek knowledge or improve their character, then they will pull you down with them. You might have big dreams, but they will convince you that it's not possible. You might want to become a better Muslim, but they will make you feel like you are being extreme. You might want to seek Islamic knowledge, but they will make fun of you for trying. And so, without even realizing it, you start settling for less. You start believing that you are not capable of more. But here is the truth. Allah created you for greatness. He gave you a mind to think, a heart to feel, and a soul to connect with Him. He did not create you to remain stuck in a place that limits your potential. If you feel like you are not growing, if you feel like your surroundings are holding you back, then this is a sign that you need to move towards a better environment. Surely, Allah does not change the condition of a people unless they change themselves. When Allah intends evil for a people, there is no way to turn it back, and for them, there is no patron other than Him. If you want change, you must take action. You cannot wait for things to improve while staying in the same place. You must seek knowledge, surround yourself with people who inspire you, and place yourself in an environment that helps you grow. Growth happens when you challenge yourself, when you step out of your comfort zone, and when you move towards the path that brings you closer to Allah. If your surroundings are making you feel stagnant, do not ignore the signs. Change your environment. Seek out people who push you to be better. Find places that nurture your soul. Strive for personal and spiritual growth every single day. Allah wants you to evolve, to improve, and to reach your full potential. So do not let your current surroundings hold you back. Take the step towards change, and Allah will guide you to something far greater. Life is too short to stay in a place that dims your light, weakens your faith, and holds you back from becoming the person Allah wants you to be. If you have seen these signs in your life, do not ignore them. They are not coincidences. They are divine messages guiding you towards something better. Changing your surroundings is not always easy. It requires courage, faith, and trust in Allah. But remember, when you take one step towards Allah, He takes many steps towards you. If you leave something for His sake, He will replace it with something far greater. So do not fear change. Embrace it, because Allah's plan is always better than anything you could ever imagine. May Allah grant you the wisdom to recognize the signs, the strength to make the right decisions, and the patience to trust His timing. Keep making dua, keep striving for a better environment, and keep moving forward on the path of righteousness. If this video helped you in any way, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, Deen Xplorers. Your support helps us continue sharing the message of Islam with the world. Until next time, stay strong, stay positive, and always keep your faith alive.